Tibetan Plateau. About 50.005 Indian plate begins VA touches with Eurasian plate in a tectonic process called the VA touch 6 places. This movement causes the Earth's crust to compress, press and advanced, gradually formed the Tibetan Plateau, with an average altitude of over 4,500 meters above sea level. At the same time, the Himalayas, natural world between Tibet and the 6 Indian subregions. It's also elevated from the process itself. For millions of years, tectonic activities continue to take place. It's making the plateau higher and more complex. About the terrain. Currently, the area is continuing to rise at a rate of several millimeters per year due to the continuation of the VA process between tectonic networks. Tibetan Plateau, one of the unique places. It is called the roof of the world. It's on the world's largest plateau, surrounded by the majestic Himalayas. Even in the face of harsh natural conditions, like strong solar radiation and severe oxygen box deprivation, Tibet, it's still home to many wild animals. Unique. In this particular ecosystem, you can find these huge mammals, the scavengers, agile primates, cold-blooded reptiles, and even a separate group of primates. The vast and cold plateau of Tibet. It's often called the third pole of the Earth. Located in the southwest region of China, with incredible altitudes up to 4,200 meters, it is also the home of an ancient people. People who have found a way to live together and exist in this mysterious land. Tibet not only stands out for its natural beauty, it's also known as a rich land, culture and mystery. The capital of Lhasa is a city on the plateau. It's a place where tradition and modernity come together. This is the center of traditional Tibetan Buddhism, but it's also moving strongly. It's a modern and dynamic city. Lhasa, the capital of Tibet. It's one of the highest cities in the world. It's about 3,650 meters above sea level. With a special position on the Tibetan Plateau, it's not just an administrative center. It's also the cradle of culture, Tibetan religion and history. The name Lhasa, in Tibetan, it means the sanctuary of the gods. It clearly reflects the important role of this city for Tibetan Buddhism. One of the most famous buildings in Lhasa, the Potala Palace, symbol of Tibetan religious and political power. The Potala was built in the 7th century under King Songteng Gampo. It later became the home of the lost souls. This original Russian palace is located on the Mapuri Hill with its teary white architecture of thousands of rooms, hallway and temple. From a distance, the Potala emerges as a majestic fortress with mysterious beauty between the clear blue sky and the surrounding mountains. Next to the Potala Palace, Jokhang Temple is also a destination, the most sacred of Tibetan Buddhism. This temple was built in the 7th century and where the statue of Vichye Mani Buddha is kept. Sacred things that Tibetans worship. Every day, thousands of pilgrims from all over the world flock here, perform rituals of kneeling on the bustling treasury road that surrounds the temple. The air here is always filled with incense, sound of chants, and the spinning of the prayer wheel, creating a very sacred and peaceful scene. Tibet with harmony in the harsh nature and a deep cultural life. It's a land of miracles, where every landscape, every animal and every mountain, it's filled with stories of resilience and harmony. Short summer on the Tibetan Plateau. It's an important time for farming. Ancient varieties of wheat and barley has good tolerance in harsh conditions. The grain fields in the magical valley. It's not just people's main source of food, it also attracts many animals to live and feed. It's one of those animals that's rapidly adapting. With this resource is monkeys. Tibet is also known as the Tibetan black honey monkey, the largest primate in the black nectar family. About 17,000.05 a small group of monkeys have moved from the hills down to the plains, discover an abundant food source from the people's corn and barley fields. With intelligence and opportunity ahead of us, they're quickly taking advantage of this available food. The presence of these uninvited guests has put the locals into an awkward situation. According to Tibetan tradition, people live in harmony with all animals. However, the theft of monkeys. This is not acceptable. Blessed with hospitality and love for animals, some villagers were moved to feed the monkeys. It opens up a special symbiotic relationship between humans and animals. Tibet, the vast land of the highlands, not only highlighted by the majestic beauty of the mountains, but also because of its unique biodiversity. And the creatures here have set up in a wonderful way, with harsh natural conditions, from extremely low temperatures to limited oxygen. Jak is the symbol of Tibet. They live mostly at altitudes between 3,000 and 6,000 meters, where the conditions are harsh, but they're still thriving because of their thick fur. It's got tremendous energy and incredible endurance. The armor can withstand the extreme cold, help them survive on the savanna, snow all year round. It's not just food, provides nutritious meat and dairy. Jak plays an important role in the lives of Tibetans when used to transport goods on the treacherous mountain roads. Is the raw material for the production of duvet cloth and even paraffin. It's also an important source of raw materials used for heating and cooking. Thanks to good endurance, Jak becomes 1-0 integral in the nomadic life of the Tibetans. It doesn't just play a role in everyday life. Jak is inextricably linked to the culture and the beliefs of the Tibetans. They appear in many traditional festivals, especially the armor races, where people show respect with this animal and compete which armor is strongest. Products made from jaks like milk, butter jaks or jak cages also have high economic value, help highlanders have more sources of income. For the Tibetans, jak is not just an animal. It's also a symbol of perseverance, toughness and tenacious strength. It symbolizes life. Stay connected to the wild. Wild cattle also exist, but their numbers are declining due to illegal hunting, and the habitat is shrinking because of human expansion. The wild is often bigger. They live in high mountains and they're harder to reach, but they're at risk of extinction. The preservation of wild sense. It becomes an urgent task to maintain biodiversity and protecting the natural ecosystems of Tibet. Himalayan mountains. It is one of the greatest natural wonder on earth. spread across 5 countries including India, Nepal, Bhutan, China and Pakistan. It is about 2,400 kilometers long and the peak of Everest is 8,848 meters high. This is the highest mountain range in the world, where there's a series of great mountain peaks and skyscrapers. The extreme altitude of the Himalayas, it creates many different ecological environments, from the green valley at the foot of the mountain to the 9 permafrost on the summits, make this area to become one of those places where the ecosystem, the richest in the world. Harsh climate, snow all year round at high altitudes, make the Himalayas become one of the lands the least people set foot. It's home to many species of wild animals, especially adapted to harsh environments. Among them the snow leopard, the mysterious predator of the Himalayas. They're a symbol of the Himalayas. This mountain range is also home to Tibetan brown bears, blue wildbeast, Himalayan blue sheep, red fox, and many rare birds like Ken Himalayan and the white-necked fruit. Himalayan snow leopard. It is also known as the ghost of snow. It's one of those wild animals, the rarest and most mysterious, living in the Himalayan mountains. This treasure is a symbol of perseverance and resilience in the midst of harsh nature. Himalayan snow leopard has a thick coat with light spots on a grey-white background, makes it easy for them to blend into the snowy landscape. They have an average size of 90,115 centimeters body length. Not counting the long tail, it's up to 105 centimeters. Another striking feature is the large and covered legs, full of fur that helps them move easily in the snow and clinging to the rocky terrain. The snow leopard's respiratory system is also designed to adapt with thin air condition at altitudes from 3,000 to 5,000 meters. They have large lungs, help absorb more oxygen in a harsh environment. Outside the long tail, not only help balance when moving on the cliffs, it can also store fat in an environment lacking food. Even though it's one of the Himalayan's top predators, snow leopards are still facing many threats. Severe poaching for hair and bones, habitat shrinkage due to climate change, and conflict with humans, and their numbers are dwindling. Tibetan foxes are one of the wild animals living in the highlands, the harshness of Tibet, Nepal, Bhutan, and some areas of western China. The most striking feature of this species, it's the angular face, with sharp ears and clear eyes. Makes it easier for them to observe their prey over a wide range. Coat yellow-brown or grey mixed white help them camouflage effectively in the steppe environment. Tibetan foxes are one of the small predators. Best facilities for arid and cold environments. To survive in cold lands, at an altitude of 35,005,200 meters above sea level, Fox Tibet has developed many unique instrumentation capabilities. They have thick fur to fight the cold. Strong legs help to move quickly on rough terrain. And the digestive system adapted to a high-protein diet. The Tibetan fox is a predator, with a diet that's mostly composed of moths, like a Tibetan squirrel, picker rabbits, as well as small birds and insects. Thanks to their extremely sensitive hearing and vision, they can detect prey from a distance and use the ginseng strategy before a quick attack. Chiru antelope, one of the fastest creatures in the world, capable of running at speeds up to 80 kilometers per hour. This antelope is known for its fur, precious soft gold. They've been hunted to near extinction. But thanks to government conservation programs, the Chiri wildbeast population has slowly recovered. Males with horns half a meter long, often fighting fiercely for the right to mate. In the breeding season, the battles are fierce. Chiru antelope. It's also curious about the unique migratory behavior. After mating season, the females travel hundreds of kilometers to the breeding site in the northern highlands. It's a phenomenon that scientists still can't explain it completely. Tibetan bear is also known as Tibetan land bear. It's a subspecies of the Asian light bear. They live mainly in the high mountains of Tibet, Nepal, Bhutan and some surrounding areas. This bear has thick black fur, with a characteristic V-shaped white patch of hair on the chest. They're omnivores, can consume a variety of different foods, from fruit, insect, honey to meat and carcasses. Tibetan bears often live alone, except during the breeding season or when the mother bear cubs. They're very good at climbing trees and swimming, help them adapt to diverse environments. In the summer, the grasslands on the Tibetan Plateau pick up the energy, stretching endlessly like a smooth blue carpet under the bright sun. After the harsh winter months, the ice and snow rise to reveal the lush pastures where you're crawling, Tibetan sheep and royal thong dong horses grazing, wildflowers, each other's strong tails among the soft grass infusions to create a beautiful picture of nature. Mix the green of grass, the yellow of the sun and the purple-red dots of the forest flower. Cool and fresh air, filled with the fragrance of soil and young grass, it brings an extraordinary sense of peace. The Tibetan nomads, it's also starting to move seasonally, set up a tent in the vast meadow, enjoy the abundant natural resources that summer gives. The fields of summer grass, it's not just a feeding ground for livestock, it's also a symbol of life, of the week, endless natural wonder on this majestic plateau. Despite the harsh natural conditions, Tibetan Plateau, still the home of vast meadows, attract many species of herbivores. Pika rabbit is a small animal, but extremely lovely. They live mainly in the high mountains of Tibet, Himalayas and some parts of Asia. It is different from ordinary rabbits. Pika has a short round ear tail, compact body and no pronounced tail. It's a herbivore. Rabbit pika mainly consumes moss grass, lichens and some other alpine plants. In the summer, they store their food by drying grass, then take it back for use in the harsh winter months, when food resources become scarce. It's a special trait, help pika survive in a conditioned environment, hardest on earth. If the number of pika declines, carnivores depend on them. It will also be seriously affected, causing an imbalance of mountain ecosystems. Out by digging pungent and mowing grass, pika also helps improve soil porosity and promote the growth of vegetation, contribute to maintaining the balance of the environment. Bone-eating vultures are also known as bearded vultures. It's one of the most unique vultures. They live in the Himalayan mountains, Tibet and parts of Europe and Africa. This bird stands out for its black mixed plumage, white and orange, with a long, sharp beak and a small beard under his chin, create a majestic and mysterious appearance. The most special feature of the skeletal eating is an unusual diet. It's not like other vultures, mainly eating scavengers. This species has 70 to 90% of its diet in bones. Thanks to the incredibly strong taste in the stomach, they can digest bones very easily. When you see large bone samples, they can be carried up into the air and drop down from a great height to break into small, easy-to-swallow pieces. It's a unique skill. Help them take advantage of their food that many other animals can't exploit. This bird mainly lives above 3,500 meters, where the climate is cold and dry. Thanks to a wingspan of up to 2.7 meters, they can glide through the sky for hours without spending too much energy. Out, the bone-feeding channel also has special reproductive properties. They often nest on Leo's cliffs. They only lay 1 to 2 eggs per season. Young birds will be taken care of by their parents before independence. Tibetans mainly follow Vajrayana Buddhism, a branch of Mahayana Buddhism, with a deep belief in reincarnation, karma and liberation. They think that human life, it's just a temporary phase in the endless cycle of birth and death. And the ultimate goal is to reach enlightenment, to escape the cycle of reincarnation. That's why the religious rituals of the Tibetans, often with a lot of spiritual colors, with the guidance of the lost ghosts and mind masters, one of the typical customs. Reflecting this belief is nature, a unique and sacred burial ritual. Heaven and earth, it's not just a form of body disposal. It's also about the impermanence of the body. Tibetans believe that after death, the soul will leave the body to be reborn, and the body becomes meaningless. There's no need to hold back. Instead of burial or cremation, they chose to offer their bodies to vultures. A bird is considered a messenger of heaven, to help the soul of the deceased escape. This is an act of compassion, to help nourish other organisms, showing harmony with nature and period of life of the Tibetans. The Tibetan vultures. It's one of the largest scavengers, living in Tibet and the Himalayas, with a wingspan of 2.4 to 2.8 meters. This vulture is capable of flying cargo now in the air to search for animal carcasses. They have light brown fur, with hairless bare neck. Makes it easy to eat the carcass without contamination. This is one of the canal species, the most important part of the alpine ecosystem. Play a role in protecting the environment by consuming corpses and prevent the spread of the disease. Himalayan Shenyang is a species of hoofed animal. They live mainly in the high mountains of the Himalayas, especially in Nepal, Bhutan and India. With thick fur and excellent adaptability, with rugged terrain. Himalayan mountains. It's one of the most important wild animals in the high mountain ecosystem. Himalayan mountain is medium size. Adults can weigh up to 90 kilograms. It's about 100 centimeters from the shoulder. Males are usually larger than females and have long fur, hairy reddish brown. Helps them stay warm in extreme climate conditions. In particular, males have horns that curve backward, can be 3,045 centimeters long, help them defend and fight during the breeding season. To survive at altitudes of 2,500 to 5,000 meters, Himalayan mountain have developed incredible biological characteristics. They have short but strong legs, hard and flexible hooves, helps to grip on steep cliffs. Excellent balance keeping ability allow them to move easily, even on the most rugged terrain. In addition to thick and long fur, to help them withstand the cold, especially in the harsh brass of the Himalayas. Himalayan shallots are pack animals. It usually consists of 10-20 individuals, in which males and females. There's a tendency to separate groups, except in the breeding season. They mainly eat grass, tree leaves, lichens and some herbs on the rocky plateau. Due to a high fiber but low nutrient diet, they spend most of the day to graze and find food. Breeding season of Himalayan oceanyard. This usually occurs in late winter or early spring. Males will compete for the right to mate by using horns. He's in strong fights. Tibetan Plateau. It is called the roof of the world. It is one of the areas present, the 9th largest on the planet. These layers of ice exist all year round, does not melt even in the summer, to create a unique ecosystem and have a profound impact on the natural environment as well as human life. However, in the context of global climate change, the 9 permanent glaciers in Tibet are slowly disintegrating, cause serious consequences. 9 permanent ice on the Tibetan Plateau occupies about 1.6 million square kilometers. It's mostly in the mountains, above 4,000 meters above sea level. These ice sheets form over thousands of years to serve as a giant freshwater repository. Flow regulation for many of Asia's major rivers, like the Yangtze River, the Maize River and the Indian River. Average temperature on the Tibetan Plateau. Always keep it low. That's why 9 is stable. However, recent studies have shown The rate at which the ice flows is increasing dramatically due to the rise in global average temperatures, threaten the ecological balance and the water of millions of people. Life depends on the river system that originates here. The Tibetan Plateau is home to many large lakes, located at an altitude above 4,000 to create meters. A majestic landscape, and it's ecologically and culturally important, in which Nom-Store is known as the Sky Lake. Striking with jade green water village surrounded by mountains of snow Nanshan. Monasodova, near the mountains. Kailash is a sacred lake in many religions. It attracts thousands of pilgrims every year. The rock line with the shape of a green dragon. It is one of the 3 great lakes of Tibet, famous for the water color changing according to the light. Silico is the largest saltwater lake. Rich ecosystem. It's home to many rare migratory birds. Meanwhile, Pangong is a cross-border lake. Stands out with the magical water color change, but it's also a hotspot of dispute between China and India. Every lake in Tibet is not just a natural wonder. It also contains historical values. Spirituality and environment are very important. The Tibetan striped-headed goose is a special migratory bird. It's famous for its ability to fly over the Himalayas at altitudes above 8,000 meters. One of the scrolls deep, the most impressive residents in the world. Every year in the summer, they reproduce on the freshwater lakes of the Tibetan Plateau, where there's a cool climate and plenty of food. When winter comes, they started their journey south to India, Nepal and some parts of Southeast Asia, to avoid the harsh cold. Thanks to the special lung structure that effectively absorbs oxygen, these geese can fly over the mountains without being affected by thin air. The migration of the goosehead casino, it's not just a natural wonder. It also shows adaptability. That's amazing about this bird. With harsh environmental conditions, the people of Tibet, through the centuries, has developed a deep spiritual bond with wild animals. In the light of Buddhism, they respect all species and strive to live in harmony with nature. The Tibetan Plateau is not just a majestic land, it's also home to many animals. From brown bear migratory birds, Tibetan foxes to rare snakes. Every creature has an interesting survival story, attached with the formation and development of the highlands over millions of years. The lakes in Tibet, many of which are formed from rising ice. It's a haven for birds like the black-necked crane, goosehead casino, blue-winged duck, crane neck black, the only crane in the world that lives in the high mountains. They are considered symbols of good luck and sacred in Tibetan culture, associated with Buddhist legends and beliefs. It's the only crocodile that lives in the Alps. It was the last species discovered by scientists. With a wingspan of nearly 2 meters, they're migrating barges based on heat waves. Some individuals living around Tibetan lakes all year round, protected by untouched terrain and abundant food sources like fish and frogs. In the spring, pairs of cranes mate to reproduce, laying 12 precious eggs. With fewer than 6,000 individuals worldwide, each egg is carefully protected. White-headed eagle Tibet, also known as the Polis fish eagle. It's a rare bird of prey. They live in lakes and rivers on the Tibetan Plateau, with a wingspan of up to 2.5 meters. This bird is considered one of the predators. The most powerful area play an important role in the highland ecosystem. This bird has a majestic appearance, with characteristic white head and neck. His sharp yellow eyes and their sharp, curved claws help them hunt effectively. They mostly live near frozen lakes and glaciers, where there's an abundance of food. The broad wings that help the Tibetan white-headed eagle gliding through the air, observing prey from a distance before plunging down and catching it with a sharp claw. They can fly high to move between feeding areas. It's easy for this bird to survive in harsh environmental conditions. It's a fish eagle. Their main food is fish and waterfowl like ducks, geese and sometimes even small rodents. When hunting, Tibetan white-headed eagles soaring on the water, use of extremely sensitive vision to observe the prey below. When they detect a target, they essay down at high speed, use sharp claws to grab prey, before flying up a rock or tree branch to eat. Tibetan Plateau. It's a vast and untouched land, where there are majestic mountains in the blue sky. The savanna stretches endlessly, and quiet glaciers through the years. It's not just one of the areas with landscapes, the most beautiful nature in the world. It's also the land that has been through millions of years of construction to form these mountains, the skies high, like the Himalayas. From blue lakes reflecting the vast sky, to the snowy peaks all year round. Tibetan Plateau, it's a testament to the great power of nature and time. Despite the many challenges of climate change and human change, this land continues to grow, to maintain a rich biodiversity, and it's home to wild animals. Rare. In the future, with an interest in conservation and scientific research, Tibetan Plateau promised to continue to keep the beauty of his great hero, become a symbol of untouched nature and the enduring spirit of the earth. This is the land of miracles, where nature is still telling my own story, through each layer of mountains, every river, and every quiet wind blowing through the prairie. Tibetan Plateau, it's also the cradle of a unique culture and creed, where people are so attached and strongly entrenched over thousands of years. On the vast prairies and snowy mountains, Tibetans still maintain a roughened lifestyle, along with customs and rituals tied to nature. This is also a mythical land, with Vajrayana Buddhism, magnificent ancient monasteries in the mountains, and the ghosts of prayer day. Hold a firm belief in reincarnation and enlightenment. The leaves fluttered in the wind. Bring with you prayers of peace. The circular sutras kept spinning, symbols for the wheel of the universe, harmonizing the sound of the silent devotional where people here live simply but cleanly. Take care of love in the soul, more than material values. Even though they're against development and modernization, the Tibetan people still provide cultural identity through traditional festivals, art and religious rituals. The folk songs, the dance of the monks, or charcoal art they are priceless legacies, connecting today's generation to the sacred past. Thank you for your experience with us, the untouched and magical beauty of the Tibetan Plateau. See you in the upcoming videos.